I'm a first timer and wanted to say I love you and thank you. And Abraham, I love all of you. And I'm so grateful for your teachings and for the incredible energy I feel and positivity I feel when I use them, when I'm in the vortex.
When you come into the whole of who you are.
Yes.
When you come into the whole of who you are.
Yes. Those teachings and those feelings brought me almost everything I've ever asked for in life. If you look at what I wrote down a few years ago when I started the teachings, almost everything is there. Suddenly, I'm living in Spain with the most amazing girl I ever imagined, and all of that just happened. It just manifested in this extraordinary, literally an explosion of energy.
Say it slightly different. And I allowed all of that through my understanding of the way the laws of the universe work. I tended to my vibration, kept my eyes open, and witnessed right before my eyes the receiving of what was formerly an idea in my vortex.
Exactly.
Yeah. And there are no limits for me.
Even more beautiful than seeing it is feeling it.
Yes,
the feelings that come up when I'm receiving are
well, you
extraordinary.
See, when you come into resonance with your source, you feel what your source feels. You're seeing with your human eyes, but you're feeling with the whole of who you are. Yeah.
Rather than ask a question about something negative, I want to play with the idea of my experience.
That's good, because if you ask about something negative, then it amplifies that, and that gathers more momentum. So when you talk about what you want, that gathers momentum. It's a more productive use of time, isn't it?
Yes. So what I want is for the relationship to be amazing. Ever since I was a kid, I've had this dream, this passion to have the most amazing relationship. And
talking about a personal relationship?
Yes.
With another person?
With another person, with my girlfriend. And,
yes.
In the future, I wanted to have that amazing one-on-one relationship with my wife that would be forever. And
the thing that trips you up about that, we talked about this some yesterday and not as much today. And of course, there's no reason that cannot be. We're not trying to discourage you from desiring that. We just want to point out that all of your power is right now. And that when you get too far down the road about something, you see, where your power, hear this, where your power comes from, what your power is, the evidence of your power happening in the moment is the resonance that you feel with your source. When you hook up with your inner being and in that alignment you focus, that is power. And that convergence is all happening in your now. If you get too far down the road about it, then you lose that power because the source within you is so now focused. We came across this word earlier today, and we want to go back to it so that you can feel the wholeness of it and the power of it and feel the feeling of it, the emotion behind it. And that word is convergence. The convergence. And so we often say to you, tuned in, tapped in, turned on. Tuned in, tapped in, turned on. That is convergence. That's convergence with your power. And that convergence happens now. It happens now. You don't have the ability to converge yesterday. And you really don't have the ability to converge tomorrow. You only have the ability to converge now, which means find resonance with a subject with your inner being. Think about it the way your inner being thinks about it. And what you're going to notice is that your inner being is not very interested in looking into the past, in dissecting the past, because when humans do that, they're almost always looking for justification about something, and so you lose your connection with your inner being right away. Your inner being doesn't look forward. Now hear this. Oh. We are so eager to say this to you. We can hardly wait to say it. It's going to take a slight preface so that you'll understand it fully. But when we say to you, what you've been doing is you've been sifting through the contrast of life and throwing your rockets of desire into your vortex, and your vortex becomes a now reality in which your inner being stands. Your inner being stands in now. But that now that your inner being stands in feels to you like future. Because you don't want to call it now until it manifests. Ooh, you get where we're going, don't you? So your inner being is not looking back. Your inner being doesn't really even want to look back as far as what you call now. Your inner being is standing in the now of the vibrational reality and calling you to it. And when you go, then you feel that resonance. You feel confidence, you feel security, you feel love, you feel passion. But if you're standing in an insecure now, trying to see your future, your insecure now won't let you see your future. Can you feel what we're talking about here? So an understanding of where your inner being is. So where is your inner being? Your inner being is consciousness. Your inner being is focused consciousness. And what is the subject that your inner being is focused consciousness upon? Your vortex. And what does your vortex feel like to you? Your future. But what is it really? Your now. It's your now. All of your power is in the now. So as you find ways to think about things like your inner being thinks about things, then you are in perfect receiving mode to where your inner being is. And then and only then can your now become your manifested now. You hear that? Because we are loud. That is the most leading edge conversation that we've ever had about turning thoughts to things. And it also explains convergence in a way that is significant. And it also explains why sometimes when you think into your future, you get feeling all insecure because you're not seeing your vortex as your inner being sees it as an already done deal. As you stand in your now without something that you want, and then you try to improve your future from that position, you can't get there because you're on a different vibrational wavelength. That is a really deep understanding. Really a deep understanding.
Can I add a deep question
Yes.
to it?
Yes.
In this relationship that brought a lot of this manifestation about, when we met, it was literally like we both felt almost an explosion.
Did you know
of
it when you
energy.
saw it?
Oh, yeah. But here's where the question happens, and I think what you just said talks a lot about it. As the relationship continued, that feeling fades away, which is normal. But
No, it isn't.
well,
It's normal for
humans.
yes. And being a human, unfortunately,
you can be a different human. You can be a human who understands your vortex. You can be a human who understands that you have source focusing. You can be a human who deliberately converges. You can. You don't have to be a human arguing for limitations. You can feel the resonance of what your inner being knows. And you can feel when you're off and you can feel when you're on. We're just wanting to make it understandable so that it's important enough to you to pay attention to what you're doing. So you don't practice habits that don't serve you.
and one of the habits that doesn't serve me is when
It's talking about things that don't serve me.
Yeah.
Because reality feels emphatic. It feels worth talking about and worth dissecting. And even though you can feel it's off, you sort of want to explain it, don't you?
As I'm moving into the future of the vortex.
All right, we'll stand over here to represent it. We're standing right in the middle of your vortex. What do you want to say to us about your vortex?
I'm going there. I'm coming to you. But
Better get here quick.
If she is resisting and not really wanting to come with me,
None of your business. Because your alignment is about your alignment, and you're bringing something forward into the conversation that really matters. Because most people, because they can see the other person, will give more credence and more attention to trying to converge with that than converging with this, even though that is in here. And when you converge with this, you get that too. The way that we've been explaining this before is almost all humans are trained by the humans who came before to want to please them. So if someone is holding you, another human is holding you as their object of attention, and they are adoring you, it feels good to you, and you want more of that. And then if they get distracted, or if something else gets their attention or whatever, and they take their attention off of you, sometimes you can feel sort of let down. But we call that looking for love in all the wrong places. Because if you're looking for it through what is always there for you, then in that alignment, you will be able to find it wherever you go. So ask your question a little more specifically. So I understand that my vortex exists, and I'm doing a good job of step 3, 4, 5, step 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 5 meaning back in 1 a little bit, but I get right there. I know what I'm doing. I care about how I feel. I wake up. I get the momentum going. I know which momentum I want to emphasize, desire momentum, and which momentum I don't want to emphasize, doubt momentum. I'm doing a good job of it. I'm feeling better and better. My dreams are coming true. My manifestations are coming out of the vortex into real life. It's evident by those who surround me, people who are observing me, that I'm doing really well. I feel it often. I have consistently a light heart. I'm happy most of the time. My emotions range from really interested in things to really happy about things to really playful about things and really fun about things and really passionate about things. I have this range of emotions that all feel so good, so good, so good. Occasionally dip, but not very much of that. And there are other people in my life that don't maintain that like I do. And the true understanding or test, we don't like that word very much, the true test of my alignment, my true understanding of whether I really am in that place of compassion rather than empathy is that I know what I know and I feel what I feel, and while I'm observing others who don't feel the same, what they feel isn't causing me to drop in my vibration. I can maintain how I feel no matter what they're doing. That really is living happily ever after. And the one who is not having empathy often feels misunderstood. And they will want to talk to you until you join them in an understanding place. And there's a tendency to go there and then resent being there, and then this gets all messy.
That's where I am.
Then this gets all messy. But if you don't go there because you've practiced ahead of time, if you don't go into empathy, you stay in compassion, then in this true love that you have found, there will be a gradual rising of the vibration of the other. It's just the way that it works. And if it doesn't work out that way, it's not any of your business. But you don't know until you stay there and see what happens with the other. Because most of you have never done that test very well because you haven't stayed there. You've met them, it's got messy. You go up, you meet them, it gets messy. You go up, you meet them, it gets messy. You go up, you meet them, it gets messy. You go up, and then you say, this is exhausting.
Yeah.
And then you say, is it time for me to go? And we say, your choice, we would. Once you know you're there, then everything in your world will rise to converge with you.